Hey, thanks for clicking on this video. Before we jump into the 100 days, I just wanted to mention that this was recorded on an early snapshot for 1.18, so there's problems with the nether generation as well as the end generation. So we won't be going to the end on this playthrough, but there's still lots of cool 1.18 stuff to see. And if you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks! Day 1, I spawned right next to a pillager tower, which I don't think I've seen before, but pretty quickly I had to make a run for it. Ouch. I came to this huge lake, which was pretty nice, but these guys would not stop following me. Off the lake, there was this big river, which had an underwater cave. So I swam across and finally got our first tree, which led to my first stone. I explored the area on top of the hill. There's a little standy area, a little stony one, some horses, the coast, but for the most part it was a big flowery meadow. Then I found this super cool cave entrance, and this cave would end up giving me a lot of trouble. At the top of the mountain, I finally spotted some food. Berries. I ate my fill, made a full set of tools, and then it was into the cave. Now, I was pretty excited to see these caves, so I didn't wait to regen to full, which I'm sure won't come back to bite me in 10 seconds. Right, one more quick jog past the pillagers, and I was back into the cave. Found some copper. Then I came across this scene and for some reason didn't run. But I managed to kill them. And then it was back to square one. When I spawned it was night, but I managed to get some tools and leave myself an extra one for next time. Now after the failure of the cave, I thought I would check out the underwater cave. Which I quickly found out has an above water section too. I found my first iron and almost drowned, and then decided to light up this top section, which went about as good as the last cave. Okay, fourth time's the charm. I grabbed my spare pick, went back to the cave, and luckily the torches I put down were enough and there were no mobs. I got my stuff back, the cave was clear of mobs, and I decided this cave would be home. Got to lighting it up and smoothing it out, and on the morning of day 2, I headed out for wood. Quickly realized the sooner we had a nice way up the hill, the better. Back in the cave, I started getting the basics set up. Checked out my upstairs, which had coal and a great place for a bridge later. Night was here and I still had no bed, so I just worked on the base. Morning of day 3 and it was starting to feel a little more homey. But now it's time to take on the cave again. I took it a little more cautiously this time. And I'm going to say this a lot in the video, but look how cool this generation is. I got past this creeper and finally got some iron. Continuing down was really precarious, but when I got to the bottom, I hit this main chamber of the cave system, and it's epic. On top of that, it had our first diamonds, so I quickly smelted up the iron. Food was still a problem, so I had to eat rotten flesh. But I got an iron pick, some armor, and then a skeleton volunteered to jump in the lava before I blocked it off. first it only looked like one diamond. But good thing I kept mining, because in the end it was a vein of 8. On my way out of the cave, I spotted another passage with a hint of green, which ended up being a massive lush cave, giving us access to moss and everything else. When I made it back up to the house, it was already day 4, and I got everything smelting, did some sorting, and made a diamond pick. I spent the rest of the day making a path to my stairs, chopping wood and grabbing some food. Night 4 meant more work on the base and bridge. I added beams to the cave and started a deep slate railing. I also made a helmet, boots, a diamond sword, and shovel. Morning of day 5, food was still an issue, so I got to work on some farms. I like this round design. You'll see why when we add redstone, but for the night it was back into the cave. Mined a bunch more resources. Fought off some guys. But most importantly, found a lava pool to make obsidian. As soon as I deal with this little guy. Day 6, I made it back to the cave with enough obsidian for a portal and an enchanting table. So it was off to the nether as soon as I got some flint. Quickly built up a safety box around my portal and got to exploring. Unfortunately, I didn't know at this point that there were nether generation problems. I knew in advance that there wasn't going to be a stronghold, but I didn't know there would be no fortresses or crimson or warped wood biomes. I did have a close call with some ghasts. Did some piglin bartering. And had a second close call with some hogwoods. I returned on the morning of day 7 to work on my bridge, farms, and entrance. Night 8, it rained, but work continued on the interior. Day 8 was just resource gathering, so that day 9 I could make some maps. Day 10 I decided to build a staircase down to bedrock so I could do some strip mining. I wanted to hide it behind my portal, but this was not a good idea because I mined in the direction of the big cave. First I hit the underwater one, then the big main one. I punched these scarecrows out of frustration, but they didn't deserve it. Fortunately, I was able to bucket down and beat off the zombie with a hoe and get all my stuff back, besides the XP. It was night now, so I continued caving, and for some reason I didn't check for more diamonds here. I did, however, find a mine shaft. Unfortunately, it had 0 chests. On my way back, I spotted a geode, and while walking over to it, I bumped into a second geode. Day 11, I made and explored 2 more maps. Finally grabbed wool for a bed, and looted the pillager tower. On the way out, I got some sweet revenge. At home, I decided to move the map wall. Maps to me are one of the most satisfying things in Minecraft. Then, for the first time, I got to sleep through the night. Day 12 and 13, I did some more base decorating, and then I took a second shot at a stairway down to a strip mine, which worked out a lot better, only hitting a few small caves along the way. Day 14 was rainy, but I was determined to finish off the first farm plot. This isn't the most efficient design ever, but it works well. I like the look, and it's really convenient to use. The redstone underneath is super simple. Torches keep the trapdoors up, button opens them. By the time it was done, it was night, so I went back to mining my staircase and caving. Day 15, I started a cow pen and a sugarcane farm. I wanted to do something a little different than the normal straight line approach, so I came up with this design. It costs a couple more observers, but it's only 5 blocks larger per 8 sugarcane, and I like the look. Day 16, I added another little building to the farm to house the collection system. Day 17, I caught some fish, and my staircase hit another massive cave with a lava lake. And this place was loaded with diamonds. And mobs. I did find my first slime in there, as well as a third geode. Day 18, I upgraded the stairs up the hill to actual stairs, and did my first harvest with the button. Day 19, we got our first wandering trader who actually had some stuff I wanted, so it was time to find a village. On my way to the coast, I fell through some powdered snow, which was kinda neat. But soon we were off, and we found an underwater village. And then somehow I lost 25 levels again, but eventually we found a nearby island that had some dogs and a village. We scooped up a guy and brought him back. I dug out a little villager area above our entranceway, which he immediately fell off of and died. So day 20, it was back to the village 2 more times so that we could get a Fletcher to sell to and a mending librarian. Plus, the wandering villager was still around, so I bought what I could. Day 21 and 22 was spent building a bedroom for and trading with the villagers, but alas, here is another big issue with this snapshot. No matter what I do, these villagers will not breed. Every time I want more, I have to go get them. 23 through 5 was spent mostly mining a massive room which would become a tree farm. Day 25 through 29, I made the classic 4-platform box-style mob farm. On day 30, I made a couple maps, but these were much more zoomed out so I could do some exploring. I found a shipwreck with some alright loot, as well as an ocean monument. Oddly, I found an underwater village on land, which got me a really good fishing rod. The main thing worth showing from this trip, though, was the views. I think on paper, 1.18 sounds like it's adding way less content than previous updates, but the new world and cave generation make it one of the best updates ever. We returned home on night 37 and expanded the map room. In the morning, I did some trading and finally bought enough bookcases to get level 30 enchantments. Though, at our first go at it, we only got him breaking 3. I should have grindstoned this and tried again, but I slapped mending on it anyway. Then I combined the 2 fishing rods we got and spent the rest of the day fishing. Got some pretty decent loot too. Day 39, I built a second farm plot for potatoes, which I got from a village while exploring. Day 40 is when I figured out they weren't going to make any more villagers, so I was off to get another. But I mistakenly grabbed one with a job, and he refused to give it up. So day 39, it was back to the village for 2 more Squidwards. The first became a farmer, and the second another librarian, this time with efficiency. Day 42, I wanted another way to the surface, so it was elevator time. Unfortunately, I had no soul sand, so it was back to the nether. I owned a ghast, only to forget that piglins don't like it when you mine gold in front of them. But I got back, and I got revenge. A while later, I still had yet to see soul stand, but I did find a bastion, so I decided to trade for it. And then on the way back, I mined my way into a family of hoglins. So after a third trip into the nether, I got back with all my stuff and finished the elevator. At this point, it was day 46, and I spent the next 2 days mining, so that on day 49 through 54, I could work on the exterior of the mob farm, which ended up being like some sort of weird hourglass. Day 55, I began work on a tower to overlook the whole area, but it would take a ton of quartz, so it was back to the nether for a massive trip. I also enchanted my axe and added mending. This time I played it very safe, digging tunnels rather than exploring the surface much, but I did do some bartering here and there. When I got back, it was day 61 and I was stacked. I had enough levels to enchant my shovel, getting Rip Fortune, my sword, Rip Again Knockback, and my boots with fire protection. I really did get super unlucky with enchanting. I spent day 62 and 63 trading and working on my base, adding lots of decorations, doubling and sorting my storage area. Day 64 through 67, I worked on the tower until I ran out of logs and needed a way for my tree farm to grow. In the meantime, I made paths throughout my farm and up to the tower. Day 68, I started on a bridge from my cave across the river. When night came, I tried to get a trident, but unfortunately no drop. Day 71, I finished off the bridge and updated the map. Day 72 through 76, it was back to the mine to get calcite from the geodes. Day 77 to 81, I finished off the tower, only falling to my death once, and only redoing the roof 3 times. Still not totally happy with it. Day 82 to 84, I terraformed the path from my bridge to the pillager tower. Day 85 to 87, I added details to the tower and chopped so many trees. Day 88 and 89, I was working on the interior when a wandering trader came up my elevator. And then all of a sudden I had a lead in my inventory. This first floor ended up being just a decorative treasure room, while the second floor was much more utility. But I like that you can see the treasure room through the floor. The third and fourth stayed empty for now. And that's kind of it. On day 90, and for the last 10 days, I made 2 more zoomed out maps and explored them. I raided a couple villages and another pillager tower, some ruined portals, I found some tripstone, and unfortunately no new biomes. But that wasn't the main point. What I wanted to see was the world generation. That's what this snapshot's about, and it lives up to the hype. Like, look at this little taiga completely surrounded by mountains. How cool would it be to build here? On day 100, I boated home, placed the map, and then took a tour of the place. Here we go, boating in. I really love being on the water and making use of the boats. It's a really nice way to travel. And welcome to the cave. I think it turned out alright. I like the glowberries. I think that's such a good addition. A little breakfast nook, storage area, little moss, enchanting room I could have done more with, I think. Here's the stairs down to the deep slate mine and caves, and then my little tree farm. That other room I just used to make moss. Here's the map room with the elevator up to the surface. I wanted to build something around this little elevator, but I never ended up doing it. Oh, let me switch to day. And now into the tower, after we clear up this Enderman's mess. I'm not sure how I feel about these elevators, but I do like this treasure room. And I actually have something else to add to it. I really like the way the shelves in this room look, and I think the barrels work better than the chests, so I'm actually going to swap this chest out for a brewing stand. I think the top floors would have ended up being an enchanting room and a brewing room, probably. But wow, just look at these views. That's what's really amazing about this snapshot. Let me turn off the UI. The views and the world generation are just so good. Now on to the mob farm. I think I like this building in the end. It's very different. Oh, there's actually some guys in here. I can fix my shovel a bit. Forgot to swap out one of those rows of cobblestone for stone bricks. Now onto the farm. I really do like this sugarcane machine. It's less efficient, like I said, but it's much prettier. So I had a little automatic bone meal farm. There's the sugarcane collection. There's the potato field and wheat field, and then our cow pen. Just beyond there is the island with the village. So I was able to boat the entire way over there. And hey, we're actually starting to get a skyline on this side. So the stairs down to my birch walkway. I like this bridge, but I think I should have really extended out the supports and made a nice arch. And that takes us back into the cave. There's just one thing left to show you. The upstairs. This little path has a little trail that goes around to the tower. And then there's the bridge across the river. Now I really wanted to do something with this pillager tower, but I never ended up doing it, so maybe in the next 100 days. And there we have it. The end of our journey. Thanks for watching.